We got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bichette extension updates, and the contracts handed out this offseason have been monstrous. So, what will that mean for the Toronto Blue Jays stars in free agency? We'll break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse, and we got a lot to get into today. But first, we want to thank you all for the support that we've been getting. Yesterday's live stream was unreal, gained a ton of subscribers, and we're on the road to 5K by Christmas time, so it's looking real good right now.
Yeah, we're going to be going live a lot more. You guys seem to really enjoy it, so keep an eye out for those. And yeah, support's been unbelievable. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy daily content. But let's get into the conversation, the main topic of the video. Ross Atkins spoke out on the Vlad Jr. and Bichette and their contract situation, especially given, the Xander, Bogaerts, and Trea Turner stuff that has happened recently. But I'll just get it right into the first screenshot here. Keegan Matheson, a Blue Jays reporter, said, "To extend Vladimir, the Blue Jays still need to find a sweet spot of shared risk," Shapiro added. "The closer they get to free agency, the more that changes their equation of risk. It makes them probably less willing to give up the risk of what it means to be out there." Followed by, "These early extensions can be such a moving target year to year, with the Guerrero extension being good examples. What version are you betting on? 1 year from now, is that different? High stakes for the Jays." So what are your thoughts on his comments there, and perhaps what you think when an extension should be done for our two stars?
Well, the market's really inflated, and like Keegan Matheson said, it really depends on both parties as well. So in the case of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., yeah, he had a down season, but his down year is 31 homers, 90 plus RBIs, and 275. So regardless, he's an elite player, he's an elite hitter, and he's going to be a generational hitter for the next decade, at least the next decade. So in the case of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I mean, I think he bets on himself. I think he wants maximum like a 4 or 5 year deal right now, and he's able to hit the open market when he's 28, 29, and that'll really set him up for another big payday. But I think that's the best way to go about it if you're Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you want to extend them 10 plus years right away as soon as you can, because you see what kind of money these players are commanding on the open market. And I don't know if I want to take the chance of losing my star player in free agency. And for the same thing goes with Bichette. I mean, Xander Bogaerts, 11 years, 275 million. It's a lot of money for a 30-year-old shortstop that is good. He's won a couple of World Series, but he's not the perfect shortstop. He's not the all-around shortstop, and neither is Bichette. So he can get something similar to that, probably even more because he's younger. So I think you got to get a deal done as soon as possible if you're Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, if you do want to build around these two guys.
Yeah, you'd think Bo would command more than Xander, even at this point, just because of his age and potential, which is kind of a scary thought because these players are getting unbelievable amounts of money, which we'll discuss in a few minutes here. But yeah, regarding Vladdy, I think, like you said, he bets on himself this year. I don't think he wants to do an extension right now, especially after his quote-unquote down year, which would still net him. If he was a free agent right now, he would get a huge contract, even with the down year. But I think he wants to, go back to what he did in his 2021 and just go unbelievable, go crazy, and then end up getting 400, maybe even million, or 300 or 400 million.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I'll take a Vladimir Guerrero's down year any day of the week. And that 2021 was just unbelievable. That was Triple Crown type season, Triple Crown worthy season. And I think he can replicate that again. And if he keeps doing that, then you're going to have to be ready to fork out 400 plus million for him if you want to sign him long term.
Yeah, and I know in the live stream yesterday, a lot of you guys were asking about our thoughts on if we will extend him, and we'll bring up a screenshot here now. This is from Brandon Willie. So Jeff Blair originally tweeted a penny for Bichette's thoughts this morning. This was following Xander Bogaerts' massive contract, which we'll get into in a minute, but he's saying, Bo watching 30-year-old shortstops get paid $280 million plus on 11-year deals makes me think the starting point for any Bo extension is $350 million. He's only 24, arbitration eligible, and ranked 6th among SS and WAR. Of course, his defense is a big question mark, but even then, Xander Bogaerts is not the best defender either, and he's Bichette is so much younger. The figure is at least starting at $350 million, which is crazy to think about. That is just so much money, especially because what we're paying Gosse and Springer looks like a discount now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and in the video that we talked about these two players getting extended, we also mentioned Alek Manoah, and I definitely don't want to lose him. I think he still wants to be here long term, so
Definitely.
you got to try to get that done. And we've always used the Atlanta Braves as kind of a barometer where they call up a star player from the minors, plays a handful of games, 80 games, half a season, and then they sign him to a 9-year deal on a team-friendly contract. And now they're just looking super smart for it because let's say Ronald Acuna hit free agency before they sign him to that extension. He's getting 300, 400 plus
Yeah.
million, no doubt about it. So, yeah, I think that's the smart way to go about it. You got to try to extend your star players, your cornerstone players, as soon as you can. And when we did talk about Bichette's extension, we said maybe 200 million, like 20 million per. That's looking like a joke right now. Maybe 200 million over the first half of his contract right now. So it's crazy to think about. There's so much money going around the league right now, and Rogers is going to have to adapt or die. I'm afraid.
Yeah, the market is unbelievable. Maybe Rogers wasn't ready for it, or Ross Atkins wasn't ready for it. We'll have more videos discussing that over the next few days as well. Once the stuff is kind of starting to die down, but players, Rodon and players like that are commanding average starting pitchers. Rodon's not an average starting pitcher, but some of the other guys are commanding superstar money. It seems like Ross
Yeah,
Stripling.
yeah, like 15 plus for an average guy that had one good year in the majors. It's a ridiculous market, but you got to adapt if you want to be a big player
Yeah,
there.
Ross Stripling hit the absolute jackpot. He didn't get qualified offered. He managed to become a starter in a year where he wasn't even planning to be a starter. Now he's in a command probably 20 million plus a year, maybe a bit less than that. Who knows what he's going to get? But I have a screenshot to pop up here. We've discussed it a little bit. This is the Xander Bogaerts contract, like we said, 11 years, 280 million. And I also have this, which is Trey Turner, which is probably a bit
Yeah.
more comparable to what Bo is going to get. 11 years, $300 million. Bo is probably going to get even more than that. He's probably looking at a 10-year, $350 million deal, something like that. But I don't know if he extends now. It doesn't seem like a bad time for Bo to extend as opposed to Vladdy. I think there's a more likely chance Bo gets extended than Vladdy. But I don't know if the Jays even. Who knows what the Jays are thinking regarding that? Because it must be a tough decision for them because they got to get some more players. They've got nothing in the free agency so far. We're looking at the Joey Gallo types right now from the outfield.
Yeah, no, we've gotten very lucky in the past couple of years with the pandemic. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but we managed to get a couple of guys on a discount, whether it be Gosman, whether it be George Springer. That really deflated the market, and now player meetings were in person, winter meetings were in person. Everyone was getting together and wanted to sign that record-breaking contract, and it looked like it would just be for Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, the two generational talents. It's looking like they're in like a league of their own with their 350 million plus, and now everyone's going out there and getting it. Trey Turner, another 29-year-old shortstop, is going to turn 30 by opening day, is getting 300 plus million. It's just so much money, and I don't know if those contracts will age well. I'm afraid to give that to someone, so that's why for Vladdy and Bo, I'd give them each 10 plus years right now, and you could kind of reap the fruits of your labor over there in the sense that they'll be in their mid 30s once the contract is up, and you won't have to trot out a 39-year-old on opening day. So I think that's the best way to go about it.
I agree, and not only that, we also have to consider the fact that they could leave. They could,
Right.
if we not extend them and we let them, just play the market out, they could get another offer. Think about the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, a bit of a different situation, but I personally thought he was going to be a Red Sox for life, Xander Bogaerts, but didn't end up happening. So we had to be careful on that front too, if players are going to leave. And touching on Manoah real quick, I think we need to lock him up as well. He's like, I don't think he would leave, but he seems like he's the backbone of our starting rotation. He's the backbone of our team. He represents Canada so well. I just want to lock him up, whatever it takes, and it would take. I can't even begin to put a number on it. Maybe they want to. The front office wants to give him one more year to make sure that obviously it wasn't a fluke, but to make sure that we know what we're getting into here. But I want Manoah signed as
Yeah.
soon as possible, just so we have that at least locked down. Because there's just so many pending contracts right now that aren't expiring super soon, but before we know it, they'll be free agents.
Well, Manoah's still got like 5 years left of control, so
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. And I don't think he will want to leave either. But you got to remember, Nick, there's no such thing as a hometown discount anymore.
No.
We'll use Aaron Judge as an example here. He wanted to go back to New York, but on the condition that they gave him the ninth year, taking him to age 40. That was the one condition that brought him back. So yeah, he said, "You guys are my preference, but give me another year and another 40 million, and then we'll talk." So there's no such thing. There's no bargaining chip here. You got to sign your guys. And if you do want to keep them around, which I think the Blue Jays have been not as aggressive on the market because they do want to keep these guys and they want to extend them long term. So I think they'll get a deal done soon. I think the number one priority, at least in my mind, is Alek Manoah. Then it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Then it's Bo Bichette. But Bo's also a premium position. Shortstops are hard to find, and good shortstops are hard to find. So you got to get a deal done with at least one of them, and lay the framework for what the next deal might look like.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're having conversations about it, but I'm also sure that they're trying to hopefully get something done in free agency, which we'll have a couple more videos over the next day or two discussing what our options are left at this point, because there's not many left there, but there's some more reports that came out. But the support has been unbelievable. That'll wrap up this video, and let us know in the comments what you think, who you want to get extended first in order between Manoah, Vladdy, and Bo. Let us know, and we'll be live streaming a lot more. That was unbelievable, and the support's been great.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow.